How did hip-hop's first billionaire-in-waiting wind up as the butt of Jamie Foxx's sharpest punchline? One summer night at Netflix's all-star comedy show, Foxx leaned into the mic, locked eyes with the crowd, and fired, "Diddy's a nasty expletive." Gasps turned to nervous laughter as he riffed on baby oil rumours and a legacy, now all about the baby oil, driving home how far the once untouchable mogul had fallen. That roast wouldn't sting nearly as hard if Sean Diddy Combs weren't fighting for his freedom, a few subway stops away. In a Manhattan federal courtroom, prosecutors say the 55-year-old built an empire of intimidation and trafficking, a racketeering scheme so sprawling that conviction could swap his velvet rope lifestyle for life behind bars. Foxx's jab captured what millions are whispering. How do we reconcile the chart-topping architect of It's All About the Benjamins with the lurid testimony of abuse, payoffs, and late-night freak-off parties? Each witness on the stand chips away at Combs's legend. Each celebrity commentary, like Foxx's, magnifies the spectacle. And if Hollywood's smoothest storyteller is willing to unload on an old industry ally, what does he know that the rest of us don't? Stick around, because this story isn't just about a fallen icon. It's about power, loyalty, and the shocking secrets that spill out when the lights finally come up. It's late in West Hollywood, and the Comedy Store's red neon glow bounces off camera flashes as Netflix tapes its all-star comedy night. Jamie Foxx steps up, but his first punch lands anything but polished. "That Diddy stuff is crazy, huh? He's a nasty expletive." The audience freezes, then erupts, half laughter, half gasp, while Foxx's daughter, Corinne, on stage as moderator, cringes behind him. Foxx doubles down, riffing that the black community just lost a hero, cracking that Combs turned It's All About the Benjamins into All About the Baby Oil, and even mocking lurid testimony about urine-filled encounters. Not content with one jab, Foxx pivots to a Martin and Eddie reference from the 1999 film Life. "Why you so nasty, Diddy? 'Cause I'm a nasty expletive. Take that, take that." He milks the line until the room howls, then feigns an Emmy campaign apology, only to sardonic wink his way back into more barbs about slippery parties and secrets too wild for prime time. In less than 5 noisy minutes, Foxx transforms a comedy set into a cultural reckoning, framing Combs as the cautionary tale no punchline can soften. For fans who once danced to every bad boy drop, the sting is personal. For Foxx, fresh off rumours that Puffy tried to harm him, the roast feels cathartic. Yet the laughter masks a darker backdrop. Just across the country, federal prosecutors are assembling witnesses who allege intimidation, trafficking, and hush money payoffs stretching back decades. And that's where we're headed next, because the jokes on stage pale beside the sworn testimony now echoing through a Manhattan courtroom. Across the continent from Foxx's punchlines, the laughter stops the moment you step into courtroom 26B of Manhattan's federal courthouse. On May 12, 2025, prosecutors opened their case against Sean Diddy Combs, charging him with 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and 2 counts of transporting people for prostitution, felonies that could lock him up for life if even one sticks. Combs, 55, has pleaded not guilty and arrived each morning in a tailored suit that can't hide the stakes. The empire he spent 3 decades building may now be Exhibit A in its own downfall. Prosecutors' opening narrative is blunt. They allege Combs weaponized fame, fortune, and fear to run a criminal enterprise that funneled young women into what insiders called freak-offs. The government's first key witness, a former aide testifying under the pseudonym Mia, described being brainwashed into loyalty, only to break down while recounting an assault at Combs's Los Angeles mansion and a humiliating encounter during his 40th birthday blowout. Defense lawyers pressed her on cordial messages she'd sent years later. She replied that trauma doesn't vanish just because the abuser still wields power. Prosecutors' opening narrative is blunt. They allege Combs weaponized fame, fortune, and fear to run a criminal enterprise that funneled young women into what insiders called freak-offs. 2 days later, the spotlight shifted to R&B star Cassie Ventura, whose settled civil suit jump-started this criminal probe. Under oath, she detailed drug-laced freak-off nights and a 2018 assault she says left her bruised for weeks. Her graphic claims, now framed for jurors rather than tabloids, underscore why prosecutors say Combs used hush money to protect his brand. With each witness, the courtroom picture grows darker, and the cultural chasm that Jamie Foxx joked about widens. But rumours don't only swirl around Combs. In our next chapter, we'll see how the internet tried to cast Foxx himself as a target in Diddy's alleged web of intimidation, and how the comedian answered back. The court fight might be Diddy's worst nightmare, but for Jamie Foxx, the trial reopened a different horror. The moment he woke up in a hospital bed in April 2023, legs limp, doctors whispering hemorrhagic stroke. As he secretly scrolled his smuggled phone, a headline flashed: Puffy tried to harm Jamie Foxx. Another swipe insisted he'd been replaced by a white clone. Even on heavy meds, Fox's first thought was, these expletive are trying to clone me, and they made me white so I'd sell better overseas. Fast forward to May 23, 2025. Sitting at the Hollywood Reporter's stand-up comedy roundtable, Foxx finally addressed the conspiracy. No, Puffy didn't try to harm me, he deadpanned, adding that the clone rumour made me flip harder than any diagnosis. The room cracked up as he painted a slapstick vision, a pale Jamie 2.0 strolling into his ICU room like a faulty movie recast. The psychiatrist on duty, unsure whether to laugh or sedate, simply lowered the dosage. Foxx joked. Foxx had previewed the bit months earlier in his Netflix special What Had Happened, was teasing that he bailed on Diddy's legendary freak-off parties by 9 p.m. because it looked slippery in here. Audiences roared, but the punchline landed sharper once federal agents raided Combs's mansions in 2024 and the trafficking probe went public. Now, every callback about slippery floors or baby oil stashes feels less like stand-up banter and more like insider foreboding. Fox's mix of gallows humour and first-hand fear turns him from mere bystander into narrative mirror. If an A-list Oscar winner can imagine being silenced, what did lesser-known assistants endure behind Bad Boy's velvet rope? And that brings us to the woman whose sworn testimony made baby oil jokes headline news, Sean Combs's most famous ex, Cassie Ventura. Before jurors ever heard a word of testimony, Sean Combs tried to buy silence. Singer-model Cassie Ventura, his on-again, off-again partner for more than a decade, filed a bombshell civil suit in November 2023, accusing him of battery and trafficking. 24 hours later, the papers vanished, replaced by a reported $20 million settlement to everyone's mutual satisfaction. But in court on May 14, 2025, Cassie ripped the lid off that deal. On the stand, she described freak-offs orchestrated by Combs, drug-laced sex parties where she was ordered to perform with strangers while he watched, baby oil gleaming under club lights. Sobbing, she told prosecutor Emily Johnson she'd give every penny back if it meant she'd never endured those nights. Her words echoed earlier witness accounts. Former assistant David James recalled stocking hotel rooms with an arsenal of pills, lubricants, and industrial-sized bottles of baby oil any time Combs travelled. The detail matched the punchline Jamie Foxx had hurled from the Comedy Store stage, proof that satire can't outpace the sordid reality now unfolding under oath. Cassie's testimony reframed the $20 million not as hush money well spent, but as an invoice for trauma. And her vow to return it upped the moral ante for jurors deciding whether those slick bottles were props in consensual kink or evidence of a criminal enterprise. Cassie's tear-stained account didn't spring from nowhere. It sits atop years of lawsuits and late-night whispers that trace back long before federal agents appeared on Diddy's doorstep. In 2019, a music industry exec sued, claiming the mogul assaulted him in a club bathroom after a shouted insult, then silenced the incident with cash and an NDA. That same playbook, money first, Silence later kept surfacing as new accusers lined up. The strategy cracked in March 2024 when Homeland Security agents raided Combs's Miami Star Island mansion and his LA estate, seizing phones, surveillance drives, and what one agent called an entire archive of NDAs. In court, the agent testified that many agreements included escalating penalties: $250,000 for a single leaked photo, $1 million if any claimant spoke to police. Prosecutors say those contracts turned wealth into a weapon, converting private bedrooms into safe crime scenes. Brands noticed by mid-2024, at least 18 partners, from luxury vodka deals to fashion collaborations, cut ties. Even Revolt, the network Combs founded, forced a sale of his majority stake and rebranded itself as employee-owned to dodge the fallout. Sponsorship losses now top an estimated $180 million, slicing into the fortune that once crowned him hip-hop's richest. Yet cash still flowed in the shadows. Court filings reveal at least one alleged $30,000 hush payment last year to keep a witness quiet about an assault after a 2018 Grammy afterparty. Reports claim similar envelopes traded hands for everything from broken phones to broken ribs, small sums against $1 billion backdrop, but enough to keep stories buried until federal subpoenas pried them loose. Put together, the lawsuits, raids and brand exodus draw a straight line Fox hinted at with his slippery joke. Power gave Combs permission, money bought erasers, and NDAs blurred every ugly detail. But as public faith wavers, another betrayal cuts deepest, the cultural one. That's where Jamie Foxx's next riff hits hardest, and it's where we're headed. Jamie Foxx's riff about the 1999 film Life, "Why You So Nasty Diddy," wasn't just a punchline, it crystallized a widening cultural rift. For 3 decades, Combs symbolized black ambition. Bad boy anthems shook block parties. It's all about the Benjamins blared from graduation speakers, and Kirok clogged VIP tables. Now those same tracks land with a cringe. Radio programmers have slashed Combs's spins by 88%, and his on-demand streams have plunged 51.8% since the trafficking indictment went public in April 2024. Hip-hop elders are washing their hands too. Suge Knight shrugged on local TV that everybody knew Diddy's parties were more than just champagne toasts. Rival turned executive 50 Cent is lobbying Donald Trump against a pardon, warning that Combs broke the code long before the feds showed up. Even pop star Kesha permanently rewrote her TikTok lyric at Coachella to "Wake Up in the Morning Like" expletive P. Diddy, urging fans to belt the new version in unison. For many in the black community, the disappointment cuts deepest. Diddy once embodied the hustle, shiny suit swagger, business firsts, scholarships, and key to the city ceremonies. Now Howard University has yanked his honorary doctorate, New York City revoked its key, and Miami Beach cancelled Sean Combs Day. Fox's quip that the culture went from Benjamins to baby oil isn't hyperbole, it's a eulogy. Each lost accolade, each scrubbed playlist spot signals how far the mogul's brand has fallen. The shift is more than moral outrage, it's economic exile. Analysts estimate Combs has shed $180 million in brand and licensing deals since Homeland Security's 2024 raids. If a jury delivers a guilty verdict, music rights investors warn that Bad Boy's back catalogue, once valued north of $500 million, could become toxic inventory no major streamer wants to algorithmically surface. So as Jamie Foxx hammers home the cultural betrayal, the numbers confirm it. The beats that once defined an era are now playing out of tune. And while the public turns down the volume, the courtroom drama keeps ratcheting up. Witness lists growing longer, potential sentences growing steeper. Next, we'll track what still lies ahead in a trial poised to rewrite hip-hop history. Jamie Foxx walked off that Comedy Store stage grinning, but the real punchline is his very presence under the lights. 2 years ago, he woke up in an Atlanta ICU after a brain bleed and stroke, unsure he'd ever speak again, let alone roast hip-hop royalty. Today, the 57-year-old calls his mantra all love, no hate, and says every set feels like bonus time. That near-death clarity has turbocharged a creative comeback. In January, he and Cameron Diaz headlined Back in Action, a Netflix caper marking Diaz's first film in a decade. Production halted when Foxx collapsed on set, but he returned to finish the shoot and belt out the promo jingle himself. March brought #1 on the call sheet, his Apple TV Plus two-part doc celebrating black lead actors in Hollywood, while summer buzz circles Never Too Much, a Luther Vandross film Fox produced for CNN Films and OWN. Through it all, he keeps skewering the online circus that once claimed Puffy tried to harm him or swapped him for a white clone. At the Hollywood Reporter's Emmy Roundtable, he laughed that the rumour only proved the internet needs better writers, but then pivoted, dead serious, to urge viewers not to ignore red flags around celebrity power. That mix of gallows humour and survivor's gratitude turns Foxx into the saga's unofficial Greek chorus, a man who dodged death, watched rumours bloom like weeds, and now drops truth bombs with nothing left to lose. His voice, sharper after the stroke, echoes a question that hangs over every witness and juror in Diddy's trial. If fame can't protect a mogul from accountability, what does it really protect at all? Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.